teenagers conjuring sweet Tabasco magic. This poem is about me feeling black and like my life meant something. A house party. 70s Friday night house party, transforming hungry adolescence into Shaft, Superfly, Foxy Brown. Via platform shoes, double knit bell-bottom pants, mini skirts, blowout kits, and black lights. And the music leaking from the house was a compass. Gave aching bodies direction with each elongated step. Drowned us with anticipation. The lush taste of ebony desire rested real gentle on our mind, like Big Mama. On the front porch, rocking in favorite chairs, steady. Lemonade always in arm's reach, craving a dance with immortality, caused our hearts to salivate. Ernest's mom had just bought that wall-to-wall stereo, waxed 45s stacked and dropped in rotation, cheap diamond needle scratching vinyl. We didn't know any better, didn't care, just we wanted to hear the music that put dents in our backs, created lather between legs. It gave meaning to our everyday, and we always got a daily dose of soul, but this night was no exception as pre-adult perspiration dropped like summer rain upon the doorway. There was no attempt or to escape the sugary thickness inside, a living room of congealed funk, alive and clinging to our bodies like maple syrup, poured from the mouth of a mason jar. Smells like sweet, sticky sex as each participant tries to catch their breath. Sparks litter the sky even with the lack of oxygen as it was a hot night in a Louisiana summer brimming with youthful possibilities. There were never many sightings of that in our neighborhood, and I saw few escape the rain of despair that exists within the boundaries of Shreveport city limits, but this was an extraordinary night when a young black Southern boy not only realized his doubted sexuality, but caught a vision beyond his life axis, keeping time at the corner of Long and Doris Street. A weekend recess from chores and academic caught me and my boys concentrating on the one thing able to elude the poverty of Moortown. Me, Lee Arthur, and Luther followed the fresh scent of female adolescence along tarred streets and shortcuts through the yard back of Mr. Polo's store and duplex. Our faces were stained with high karate, back pockets filled with miniature liquor bottles we five-finger discounted from Walgreens so we could party in our right mind. Impossible to unearth acceptance when you were the too smart kid. And I was that ruddy runt who knew too much at 16, filled with hometown naivete and a dollar short of self-appreciation. And I existed on the hope of change and lived vicariously through the teenage exploits of others. It seemed an eternity before I grew more than just inches and found the courage to know real cool. Now, Lee Arthur. Lee Arthur was my idol and best friend. Young girls, they called us cat eyes. He was a prince among commoners, a sinewy jock with 3 sports letters. His hair was parted off center and he had a driver's license. Never told him he was my hero. And even though I never understood why he quit football senior year, now Luther, he was a court jester, ghetto comedian, illiterate and dark as coal, with Native American cheekbones, and he had a way of settling disputes via fist diplomacy that always quieted his adversaries. Kicked my ass a few times, but he always had my back, and it's hard to believe that teeny weenie's dad emptied a gun into him over change for a chin. And I forgot to tell him that I loved him. Vietnam was closing shop. Anti-black schools were being integrated while the Beatles insisted that we let it be. Yet all the world I wanted to know was inside that front door. A mixture of sweat and funk percolating, gladiators of groove, with bodies clashing, tearing away the armor of inhibitions, and the beat undulated the crowd, hypnotized us with each note, pounded rhythms into our spine. And there was Pam Boyd, tucked into a dim kitchen corner, my 7th grade crush, all grown up. But puberty never granted me courage to even approach her beauty. And the dance floor was a Jehovah's Witness recruiter, drafting every person who was willing to open his door, then sucked him into a black hole of funk. And each melody insisted that we stomp our feet beneath Al Green moans and Temptations harmonies. They created an urban earthquake. See, God must have created house parties the day after he showed Eve to Adam, and arms were flailing, and backs were arched, and asses were in flights, and earthbound angels were reaching for something divine, and distant lover manifest in the form of slow drags, and hard-ons grow from close encounters, and girls' thighs part like the Red Sea at the rising of each young Moses' staff, and grinding is the teenage prayer, and Benny Ray has carried me slipping into darkness, wishing that curfew was midnight instead of 11:30, and confidence is manna to youthful tongues, and it causes phone numbers to rain from 8-foot ceilings, and Marvin's preachings bring confessions to dance for altar calls, and a stovetop kiss got me thinking I'm chosen, but I am still 2 virgin summers shy of self-confirmation. Thank you, guys.